Hey everybody, Desiree here with Honeysuckle Homestead Retreat, and I'm working on another project. So, this that I am sitting on right here is a storage shed that is a 4-foot by 6-foot storage shed, and it is plastic, and it says that it is easy to assemble. We shall see. But I'm gonna unbox it here right before your eyes, and then assemble it. I guess not construct it, assemble it. And you might be asking, why didn't you just build a shed yourself with some wood? Well, it came down to price. I priced out what it would cost for me to build a shed out of wood about the same size, if not actually smaller. And then I priced out what this cost, and this was actually only like $75 more than if I had ordered the wood and then put it all together myself. And that included me cutting the wood and everything involved. So I thought about it and I'm like, you know what? I think it's worth it for me to spend an extra $75 to have a more or less pre-assembled storage shed. So all I have to do is kind of put the walls together, or so it appears. So we will see. But yeah. It says it's 135 pounds right here. Lowe's delivered it for me this morning, and I'm just now getting to it. And I'm going to unbox it right here, and then I'm going to assemble it. So this is a Craftsman. It is 70 cubic feet. As you can see, extra large resin horizontal shed. It says it's durable, secure, fast assembly. Comes with a 10-year limited warranty. And this is what it's supposed to look like when it's all finished. Directions. I don't think there's anything in here. I think it was just put in there to take up space, but I'll check. So upon reading the directions, it turns out that I am going to have to do some building with some wood after all. It does need some kind of platform to rest on, and seeing as I don't have a cement base, I will be building the wood platform instead. Luckily, I had some wood in my barn that would work really well for the platform. I just needed to haul it over to the tiny house. I just wanted to make a quick note that the instructions do call for 2x6 lumber, but I did not have that, so I am using 2x4 lumber here. Okay, just checking to make sure that everything is level. I know the angle of this camera, it does not look level, but I promise you it is. It's actually resting on some cinder blocks over on one side, and it is also on top of some pressure treated wood that's meant for ground contact. The platform itself is not pressure treated wood, even though the instructions also called for that. I did not have any of that, so I was working with what I had. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with assembly. It says at least 2 people are needed during assembly. I do not have a second person, so we're going to see how this goes with just one person. We'll see if it can be done. Okay, the first step is to put the floor panel down on the wood platform. And I was supposed to secure the shed to the wood platform using 3/8 inch by 3 inch lag bolts, along with some washers. But I have not done that. I did not have lag bolts on me, so I'm going to do that at a later date. So the next step is to add the side panels. You're supposed to align the tabs on the bottom of the left panel with slot on the floor. You lower the panel into the slots and slide towards the rear of the shed, and then you repeat it for the other panel. next step is to add the back panels. There are 2 back panels and they each attach to the side panels. And those also have notches. You put them into the top notch and then you slide down. Once you have the back panels in place, you have to firmly hold them together and verify top through holes are aligned and back of panels are flush. Then you secure with 5 screws, as I have done here. The next step is to take this corner brace, as I have here, and align it with the holes with the back and side panels. So I realized when I tried to put the bracket on that my panels were not completely aligned. And it was because the side panels had not been fully pushed back to the rear. So as you can see, I had to use some force here. I was kicking the panels to move them all the way to the back. And once they did, they kind of fell into place. There is a little groove on the bottom of the floorboard there in the very back that the back panels fell into. And the side panels were completely moved back once that had happened. And then I was able to line up the corner bracket properly. Now I need to point out something here that I am doing incorrectly. I went ahead and added all 6 screws to the bracket. You are not supposed to do that yet, so don't do that. You really are only supposed to put in the 2 screws that are in the corner, the very corner, because you're going to be adding another bracket, as you see here, that needs to line up with those holes, and that's when you put those screws in. This hole here did not line up properly, so I just didn't bother putting a screw there. I wouldn't have been able to anyway. Craftsman does make it easier with these pre-drilled holes. Okay, the brackets are done. Now we're going to move on to the doors and the roof. So the directions say insert door latch housing into right door and snap into place. So I'm doing that first, and then you're supposed to insert the door latch into the door latch housing. Slide latch up and down to check if assembled correctly. Sounds great and easy, except I'm having some problems with it. Okay, so I made a bit of a mistake. I was having trouble with this latch and trying to get it to work in general, and I put the whole latch part together first, and now I can't get it into the door. So don't do that. I'm trying to figure out a way to get the latch out of this contraption now so I can put it in the door. We'll see. Okay, I somehow managed to get these pieces apart. I didn't think I was going to be able to do that, but I was. So now I'm supposed to snap this into place, which I might have to like hammer it down. Let's see. This is supposed to go in like that first. so that took a little bit of force, but I got it to work. Okay, moving on to the doors. The directions say to stand the right door upright and slide one door hinge onto each hinge mount. Rotate metal hinge plates to open position, and then just repeat this for the left door. Right now, I am attaching the lock hasp to the right door. I am using one screw and one nut. The next step is to hook the hinges onto inside indent of side panel and rotate towards front of shed to snap into place. Secure each door hinge with one screw and then repeat these same steps for the left door. So all I have to do now is add the brackets to the roof and then add the hinges and then put the roof on top of the walls. The first step with the roof is to attach the lower lid latch to the lid, and I'm using 2 screws to do this. Right now I'm attaching the lower front bracket to the lid. So I need to attach the front lid bracket using 10 screws, and then it says in the directions to use force when starting to drive self-tapping screws. Once the screw pierces the plastic, it will drive easier. The next step is to attach the truss leg. The directions say to align the truss leg to lid and lower into position. Attach truss leg through pre-drilled holes using 10 screws. I am currently installing the center hinge to the lid using 2 screws. Next, the directions say to insert the bolt into hole in top of shock. Thread the nut onto the bolt and tighten, and then insert bolt into hinge. Use a wrench to tighten nut onto bolt. Repeat for remaining hinge and shock. Next step is to lower the hinge to the lid panel. The nut should nest into pocket on the lid. Attach hinge to lid panel by using 6 screws. There are no pre-drilled holes on the lid, so you are going to have to use force with these self-tapping screws. Next, insert bolt into shock bottom. Thread nut onto bolt and tighten. Insert bolt into lower hinge. On outer side of lower hinge, install a second nut onto bolt. Moving on to the final steps. Now all I have to do is punch the top 3 holes on the left panel and also repeat for the right panel, and this is where the hinge is going to go. Now this is the part that requires 2 people, but I am one person doing it, so feel free to laugh at my difficulty with this. But it says with one person holding lid, have a second person install 2 screws, 2 bolts, and 2 nuts to finish fastening the lower hinge to the side panel. And then you repeat for the other side. I was not able to do that step first. What I found out was a lot easier for me was actually to move on to step 21, which was to secure the center hinge to the left and right back panels using 4 screws. So I did that first, and that was able to stabilize the roof and kind of help hold it for me. And then I was able to screw on the hinges on the side. My arm was getting so tired from holding the roof up, I had to keep taking little breaks. Okay, it is finished. I don't know how long that took me, but it took a few hours for me to do it by myself. I'm sure if you had someone helping you, it would get done half of the time, if not less than that. But I was figuring things out as I went and somewhat taking my time with it, and the hardest part was lifting up the rooftop and getting it attached with the hinges and everything. But it is finished, it is done. I'm gonna close it up and I am done for the day. I will say it's got nice, nice hydraulic hinges. So it has a place to put a lock on it. I don't have a lock yet, but I will be putting a lock on it. And then this is the thing that goes up and down to keep it shut. So that is it.